and welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to commerce of tomorrow. Today we have Debbie Drutz, who's the President of Novus Media in Canada. Welcome, Debbie.
Hi, how are you?
It's great to have Debbie on the program. I've known Debbie for quite a while. She's one of my favorite people in the advertising and marketing space. And she's certainly kind of the person to go to for any print and out-of-home needs that you have. Novus Canada is a true leader in the out-of-home space. If you're kind of working on anything with spatial planning and analytic capabilities, they can provide the comprehensive media strategy programs that allow brands to reach their audiences where they are. And so, you know, I think, Debbie, before we started today, you kind of laid it out perfectly. You know, what do you do in the out-of-home space when everyone's in their homes right now? That's probably one of the key topics that we talk about today. But it's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love connecting with you guys and chatting about all stuff media.
Absolutely. So Debbie, tell me a little bit about your background and how did you end up at Novus?
Sure. You know, I've been in media for the better part of 22 years. You know, started off in the planning and buying space at one of a substantial agency called Cassette Media. That's where I started my career, and then quickly moved over to what I call the dark side. I spent 20 years in sales in all different capacities: radio, television, digital, and out of home. And so it just made perfect sense for me, you know, to kind of full circle back to the agency and start to lead an agency again in the out of home space. And that's sort of how I ended up at Novus Media. And it's been 2 years now running the agency.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about the latest with Novus.
Yeah, you know what? Like, we've managed to come out of 2020 okay. You know, like I remember that.
Congratulations.
That first plan in March, where it was like, oh my God, what is going on? And, you know, we were literally sitting with financials statements every week and trying to figure out, you know, what our year was going to look like. But I think, you know, focusing on people, making sure people were happy, making sure clients were happy, and just kind of getting it right and leaning out the team allowed us to come out okay. We had some unexpected business, which is always positive, that came through. And it was just kind of keeping a positive position throughout the year, and just, you know, kind of accepting what was happening got us through 2020. And still, you know, leading into 21, I mean, you know, we're in Novus is in Toronto, the market of Ontario, which has been on lockdown since November. So we're still feeling it a bit here, but again, just still trying to stay positive. Cases are coming down, and we hope that marketers are coming back, and we know they're going to come back into the out-of-home space, because I think everybody is dying to get out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting one, because the reality is that you know, we've been living through this marathon of the pandemic, and you know, some days are better than others with the news that we hear, of course. But when you know, from a very personal perspective, when I've been able to get out of my house, I've taken long walks, and I got to tell you that out of home is some of the most memorable things that I think about. I probably thought more about those out of home ads than I've ever thought of before, because, you know, they're on the same paths I take every day. So, I mean, It seems like it's quite relevant for business today. I mean, tell me how companies are thinking about it now. How is it? How are they thinking about out of home, and putting it in context?
Well, we're just being super surgical about, you know, how we plan it today. And like, you know, because of location data, because we're able to use anonymized device level data, we're able to really understand the flow of not only traffic, but audiences. And so, you know, if it's very, you know, we can literally follow customers through their journey and know where to place these out-of-home ads. And so I think it's just about being really smart about what's the consumer thinking about today. Like today, if they're getting out into their car, they're either, going to an essential service, they're going to the grocery store, they're dropping kids off at school, they're, heading to a medical appointment. So I think it's thinking about those journeys and where people are going and making sure that, messages are super contextual and they make sense for today's environment. And that's how we're planning today. So we're certainly seeing, our clients out in the marketplace, but we're being really, really specific about the location, the neighborhood, and the message that we're placing on these fixtures.
That's great. So much more precise and thinking about that pathway and that journey. And so, I think it's interesting because all of us would have been taking that journey to an office to work in, a year ago today, probably, right?
For sure.
But I imagine your team is pretty spread out. I mean, I'd be just curious as a leader. I think you're the first agency leader I've spoken to. How are you guys keeping everyone together and connected? And
I think it's just important to keep communication flowing. We've got socials that happen every couple of weeks, so we're all on Zoom, and we're not just sitting around with a drink, but we're doing some fun stuff, whether that's trivia or Kahoots or anything that's fun and just kind of takes you out of the day-to-day. And again, it's really about making sure that everybody's feeling empowered, feeling positive about their work, making sure that people, turn things off. Because, when you're sitting at home, you're pretty much on all day. I mean, I'm on all day, right? All night, all day, weekends, it doesn't matter because you're at home, but just making sure that people are turning off and sort of feeling good about the work that they're doing. And that's how we're staying connected. And I have to say, staff are really happy to be at home and to work from home. They feel like they have more time with family, more time to connect with friends, and they really have control over their schedule. And so we've been receiving really positive feedback about the work from home.
Managing that ability to turn off is really key, and I think being very conscious of that's spectacular. I mean, of all the stuff that you're working on, I mean, what are you finding gives you the most joy right now?
I sit on the DPAA board, and I find that, I chair this women empowerment group, and we've been doing a lot of work around supporting women in leadership roles, or just supporting women that are coming up, that are just starting their careers. So I'm feeling really excited about the work we're doing with We Do, part of the DPAA, and that just kind of gets me going. I'm really passionate about that. And I love connecting with women. We're having, weekly calls with different women across the organization, supporting them, based on our experience, our network, and what we can provide to them has been really helpful. So that's been keeping me going. Also, just ensuring that, the team is up and running and happy. And doing the right thing and really thinking about inclusivity. I think that's really important after what's gone on all year. We launched an organization called AEC, Action Equity Collective, in our organization. And, we've changed policies. We issue newsletters each week. We're recognizing key holidays and stuff that we've really never done before. So that's getting our organization really jazzed up and excited, and making sure that everybody feels included and a part of a family.
That's great. I mean, We Do is spectacular, and it's great to, I remember, Debbie, I believe that you and I spoke probably in June or July of right in the heart of the early stage of the pandemic, and a lot of the things that were happening with the Black Lives Matter movement. And so it's great. It's great to see actions being taken by companies like yours. And it's no surprise to me that Novus and you are leading the way. As you plan for the future, I mean, what are you guys thinking about, and what is this? Are you guys seeing a world are you planning for the world of a post-pandemic world at this stage?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, we've just recently presented, long-term strategic plans, but we're so focused on the short term as well, because anything can change. And I think that's what this year has really taught us, is to be flexible and to be open and accepting of change. So while, we have our kind of 3-year vision of what the organization looks like, who we want to be, what we want to come out being known for, but we also need to think about, how things are changing every week. So we're kind of focused on both, right? Sort of long term out, but making sure that we are open and that we're
Right.
accepting of sort of what's going to come at us. And
Yeah.
and so that's a juggle, right? Because you kind of want to plan for long term, but this year's taught us that, wow, things could change on a dime and you have to change with it. And so I think the people that have stuck with us are on our path, or on that path as well. Really positive and really just ready for anything.
Yeah, I that's such a good attitude. Oh, Debbie, you always have such a refreshing viewpoint on these things. I think that a lot of people seem to be kind of like hoping and planning for something that will come again, and they'll be able to kind of like step away from this back to what was, or maybe a new is. But for what you're outlining, it's true. I mean, the winners truly are the nimble ones, right? The
Right.
ones that are kind of shifting and moving forward. And it's great to hear this stuff from you, and what Novus is doing in the space. I mean, on the work that you're doing, I know that you work with Barry and all of the great work that's coming out of all the DPAA. In terms of the out of home space, do you think that some of the trends that we saw early last year, like the shift to more digital, some of the more technical things, are we going to see more of that, or
Yeah,
how's it going to flow?
absolutely. I think we're going to see some consolidation happening. I think there's a lot of players from a platform perspective in the marketplace that have all come out, and we've seen like this slow growth with digital out of home and adoption of technology and platforms. And I think what's happened this year, it really accelerated everybody's awareness of it, acceptance of it. And now I think what we're going to see is some interesting consolidation, which will be exciting, because a buyer like Novus doesn't want to work in 4 different platforms, right? We kind of want to work with 1 or 2, so that our reporting is all in one place, and we can plan across the whole country, or if not all of North America. So a consolidation is something that I think we'll see. And again, quick acceleration and adoption of programmatic digital out of home. So digital out of home has been around probably for 10, 12 years. Now it's about adopting the technology, making it smarter, faster, and better. So
Making it
lot of
easier,
great
right?
things.
So
Yeah, just making it easier, right? Because
I can buy
it's still a
all
little bit
I can buy
cumbersome
all of the digital out of home signs across Canada.
in one place, and even across North America, because as Novus Canada is essentially Novus at a home, we're now planning across North America. So that's what I'd like to see, is where I can go into one platform and everything appears for us to plan and buy accordingly for advertisers.
That's excellent. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us today, Debbie. We've been talking to Debbie Drutz, who is the president of Novus Media in Canada. Novus is the premier print and out-of-home specialist agency. If you have any questions about how out-of-home is developing anywhere in North America, talk to Debbie. She's a person to speak to. It's been great to have you on UNCAGED. UNCAGED is a program that gives a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Talk soon.